All right, good morning, everybody. We got the lines muted and the calls recorded, so welcome to the Wake Up Call. My name is Kirby, Wright, and I'm calling in from Tennessee, where we finally got rid of a lot of snow and ice that we've had here for several days. And it's my pleasure to introduce the main speaker on the call today to talk about Chapter 47, Managing Discouragement, in the book Little Things Matter. And if you didn't know, we're going through this book by W. Todd Smith called Little Things Matter. And you can follow along with us. If you want to purchase that book, you can find it online. You can also find a free download. Just Google in Little Things Matter, free download, and it'll pop up a PDF that you can download the entire book for free, which is pretty handy. And also, if you miss a call, you can go to zwakeupcall.com, and each morning after the call is recorded, it's put on that, I think it's a YouTube channel, and you can listen to any call that you may have missed. So with that, I'd like to introduce the main speaker for the call, my wife for 41 years, and really the founder of the Wake Up Call, the person who had this idea several years ago, many years ago, actually over a decade ago, to start your day with a 15-minute inspirational call based on the book Little Things Matter. So with that, Cindy Wright, you have the call. Cindy, are you there? Well, y'all stand by. She's here, but she's not. I'm not hearing her. Stand by. We had a little technical difficulty. I think she may dial the wrong code. I'm going to give her my phone.
Sorry, y'all. Take my phone. Sorry. I think I dialed into the other line. So anyway, we're on managing discouragement, chapter 47. He said, it's true, we all get discouraged from time to time. It's just one of those potholes we hit on the road of life. Even though you may have everything you ever wanted, you're still going to face times of deep discouragement. When we get depressed, our attitude and emotions turn negative. When this happens, our productivity takes a nosedive, and we tend to withdraw from others. Whatever the goal is we're working towards, the risk of giving up runs very high. Since it can have such a negative impact on every area of our lives, learn to deal with disappointments and the temporary discouragement that may result in an important part of managing our lives. Most of the time when I find, he's saying this, not me, most of the time when I find myself feeling down, it's because I am tired. I think I went to mute. Anyway, I went on Bluetooth. This is not starting out too well. Anyway, but I'm going to.
Good morning.
Okay, are you there, Kirby?
Yes, are you? Go ahead.
Oh, yes, I am. It went
All
to
right.
Bluetooth. I looked down and it was on Bluetooth. Anyway, so I'll just keep going. I don't know where I was. I apologize, y'all. He said, most of the time when I find myself feeling down, it's because I'm tired, I had a rough day, or someone said something that is bothering me. If I just get a good night's rest, I usually awaken with renewed energy and an improved outlook. Sometimes, however, I need more than just a night of rest. I need to explore the root cause of my discouragement so that I can understand it and respond accordingly. I'd like to share my 5-step process for learning about and properly dealing with discouragement. Number 1, ask yourself why you are discouraged. Take a few minutes to sit down in a quiet place and make a list of reasons why you're feeling this way. Keep in mind that you can't control something you don't understand. Number 2, probe further. Once you are clear on why you're discouraged, explore deeper to understand what's causing you to feel this way. If it's because of unmet expectations, then you want to make sure your expectations are realistic and that you are not setting yourself up for failure. Is it because you've let yourself down? If so, what are the specifics of the situation? Number 3, he said, look at the bigger picture. After you've gained a perspective on the issue that is the source of discouragement, try to understand your relationship to it by asking yourself these questions. Number 1, am I feeling this way because I'm burned out? Do I need a break? Number 2, what part of this situation is my fault? What can I do differently? 3, am I making progress but just slower than I had hoped? What lessons have I learned? Am I a better person because of this experience? Should I go to someone I trust and respect for some insight and perspective on this matter? This is always a big help to me because much of my discouragement stems from unfulfilled expectations. Often a fresh perspective is all I need. Number 4, what's the plan? Next to each item on your list, write down your plan to address the issue that is bothering you. Don't accept a long-term sentence of discouragement. Nothing puts an end to discouragement like productive mental and physical activity. As I reflect on all the times I've felt dejected, I realized that these were times when I needed to grow. Perhaps I needed to learn to set better expectations. Maybe I needed to be more careful in whom I place my trust, or possibly it was time for a new perspective. And number 5, he says, count your blessings. This is a good one. If necessary, make a list of all the things for which you are grateful. Often we focus on the one thing that's wrong and overlook the 99 things that are right. When you make a conscious effort to write down what's going well in your life, it sheds a new light on your situation. Y'all, the thing that comes to mind with me on discouragement was building our home. And we had this, plan of coming back to Tennessee and, building on our property that we've had here for a long time. And we just, it took forever to find our house plan. We were just so excited. And, they're going to break ground. And, we get out here and they have dug for a basement lot, a house with a basement. We didn't even want a basement. So that's like the first day, of breaking ground. And it was one thing after another of discouragement. I mean, it was every day we felt like we walked into a problem. And our builder was a problem. Everything about it was discouragement. I mean, we literally were angry almost every day. And we would have to look at each other and say, we got to think about, the long term. This was our dream. This was our goal. We have to be grateful. We had to tell each other this every single day to keep from being angry and yelling at somebody, because there was constantly something to be discouraged about. And so we just really had to think about why we were grateful, what was going to be the outcome. This was all going to be over soon, and really learn how to deal with so much discouragement, because what was our dream, what we thought was going to be an amazing, time in our lives, turned out to just be one of the worst experiences of our lives, and we would never do it again. I would never encourage anyone to build. And so anyway, I'll give it to you, Kirby, for your feedback.
All right. I hadn't really thought so much about the house process that we just went through, but you're right. It would have been a great chapter to read somewhere along the way on how to manage discouragement with his little 5-step thing. And one of the things that he said, I think it was in part 1 there, he said that you can't control something you don't understand. Well, that's true, but I'd like to add to that, there are some things that you just can't control. And that was a big epiphany for me in my later years of life when I realized that I can't control everything. I guess we're all control freaks to a certain extent, especially if you're an entrepreneur in business for yourself. But that was something that I had to learn, that I can't control everything. Now, not talking about the house so much, but just talking about managing discouragement along the way in life. A lot of times, and we all get discouraged. I think that's something that we need to understand. Everybody gets discouraged, and managing discouragement is a little bit about managing expectations. So we need to remember that. And I had a pastor friend years ago tell me one time when I was in a really rough spot, I felt like a total failure at the time. He said, failure is not falling down. Failure is falling down and not getting back up. And I never forgot that. And many times when I would fall flat on my face, I would have to tell myself, okay, get back up. You got to get back up, and you got to keep moving. You got to get back on track. You got to set new goals, set new expectations, and go back to work, doing whatever it is that you plan to do. So if you don't get anything else out of the call, and you remember failing, the failure is not falling down, but failure is falling down and not getting up. That was something that stuck with me for a long time. The other thing that, it talks about what's the plan, and a lot of times it seems we have to go through some of these things to grow, to get better, to change, and to look at things differently. And for Cindy and I, there's always somebody that's got it worse than we do. So when we feel down about things and we talk about it, it's pretty easy to say, well, shoot, there's a lot of people that would love to be in the house that we're in. There's a lot of people that love to have a house. There's a lot of people that just would love to have a dry place to sleep. There's always a perspective that you can reorient yourself to understand that where you are is not as discouraging as it may feel at the time. So with that, Cindy, I'll let you close it out. I think there may be a challenge at the end of the chapter.
Yes. The challenge, he said, Vincent van Gogh, the famous Dutch painter, said, "In spite of everything, I shall rise again. I will take up my pencil, which I have forsaken in my great discouragement, and I will go on with my drawing." Then he ends it with saying, will you pick up your pencil, overcome your discouragement, and persevere? Learning how to process and manage discouragement leads to a happier and more satisfying life. And one thing that we know is that staying in a state of discouragement with no hope, it's just deadly. You won't get anything done. You won't move your life forward. You won't grow. I mean, you really do have to follow some of these things and figure out what it is that is keeping you in that place and work through it. And I highly recommend people go talk to somebody that can help them, put things into perspective to get out of that, I call it a funk, that you can get in. And so anyway, with that, Kirby and I are headed to the airport. We're going to Fort Worth, Texas today. So hope everybody has an amazing day today. Kirby, you can unmute the lines.
Okay, we'll do. Stand by, everybody. We'll unmute the lines. You can say goodbye.